Players to buy in FPL Game Week 18. Stick with me and I'll take you through my list. Okay, first up on my list is unfortunately a player a lot of us probably sold before the 17 deadline, given that Marco Silva said he's going to be injured, is Alexander Mitrovic. He started, so I definitely think he's no longer a doubt and he's going to play most of the games. In my opinion, I think that's a really nice fixture run. Mitrovic has proven so far this season that he's pretty fixture proof and he can score goals against anyone. So I think that makes it a pretty decent fixture run. Obviously, he's got the double in Game Week 19. And in my opinion, Leicester and Chelsea, games he could score in both of, I think he's the best captain for Game Week 19 as well. He's obviously nailed to start for Fulham. He's absolutely their talisman and he's on the penalties. The underlying numbers for Mitrovic as well are absolutely insane. He did really well in his fixture in 17 and he's got 0.86 expected returns per 90, which puts him on a level playing field with Harry Kane. And if Harry Kane had a double game week and no one else did, you'd probably be captaining Harry Kane, which I think gives everyone reason to captain Mitrovic in 19. And he's only 6.8 million. I just think that's fantastic value for the upside that he provides and just the security as well of start. So I think Alexander Mitrovic is a great option, and if you sold him before the Game Week 17 deadline, you should absolutely be looking to pick him back up for 18 or 19. Next up, and it's not really one to buy, I would suggest that if you already have him, please hold him, in my opinion, and that's Darwin Núñez. I was absolutely terrified going into Game Week 17 because the way that my draft was structured, I just couldn't afford him, and the amount of chances that he had against Aston Villa was just insane. I think he's getting that level of chances against pretty much every opposition that he plays as well. I know people say it's only Aston Villa or whatever. I think they're a pretty good team now, to be honest, and he was getting chances left, right and centre. It was just the fact that he couldn't take them. Per 90 so far, he's got 1.06 expected returns, which is just off the chain. I think only Erling Haaland is better than him for expected returns per 90, so that says the level that Núñez is playing at. Now obviously the problem with him is that he's not necessarily taking those chances. I think it's only a matter of time with Darwin Núñez before he has a string of a few games where he scores in every one of them and takes most of the chances that he's getting. I think it's really a mental thing and a composure thing with him, and I do think that's something he can sort out even in the short term. He's obviously got no competition for starts as well. Both Diaz and Jota remain injured, remain sidelined, so I think he's a great option for your team. The only obviously caveat is that he doesn't have a double game week like other strikers, Mitrovic, who we've just spoken about, do have. But I think regardless, Núñez is a great option. I don't think I would rush into buying him if I didn't have him already, but I would definitely think if I had him, I would certainly be looking to keep him. Next up, probably a slightly less exciting pick, and that's Sven Botman from Newcastle. He's their cheapest starting defender, which I think makes him one of the most attractive players in their squad. Newcastle are currently the best defence in the league. Keeping that clean sheet against Leicester that they just did, that propels them to number one spot for defences in the Premier League. They've got a great fixture run. Obviously, there's an Arsenal fixture there in 19, but at 4.4 million, you could really justify even just benching Botman. He started the last 8 Premier League fixtures. I think one of the worries people may have had at the start of the season was, is he nailed? Absolutely, he is. That Botman and Shah partnerships seems to be Howell's favourite, and they seem to be pretty solid together. So, absolutely, Sven Botman is my pick of the cheap defenders, and I think don't really know if you can afford to make a transfer on cheap defenders, but if you can, he's definitely my pick. So next up, we've got Arsenal's club captain in Martin Odegaard. Now, comparing him to the other Arsenal midfielders, he comes out on top in terms of his underlying numbers. He's got 0.63 expected returns per 90, and that's better than both Martinelli and Saka, and he's cheaper than both of them. I think he's slightly gone under the radar with that regard, really. I think Martinelli and Saka might appear to be, I don't know, maybe more exciting players, but Odegaard just seems to be bringing up the numbers above and beyond what those two can do. I know people probably have value tied up in Martinelli, that's why they've gone for him, and Saka obviously has the penalties, which justifies the reason you'd pick him, but it sort of leaves Odegaard a bit forgotten about, whereas he's actually got better stats than the two of them. I think, just the fact that he's club captain, he's going to be expected to start every game, and Arsenal also have a possible double game week coming up in 21. So if that really does materialise, I think Martin Odegaard, if you're not already trebled up on Arsenal, is definitely a player to be considering for that double. And there you have it. 4 players that I think you should either hold, buy, or be looking to bring into your FPL team soon. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, and I have plenty more FPL content coming your way ahead of Game Week 18. See you in the next video.